All right, what's up, you guys? It's your boy JB. Sorry to start the video off like that, but what's up, you guys? It's your boy JB, and I am coming to you tonight with a review for Cloak and Dagger. This is season 2, and it's episode 5, and it was titled Alignment Chart. So, without further ado, we're just gonna jump right into the video. Man, this is a great weekend to be a superhero fan. Like, we got Cloak and Dagger tonight. We got the Avengers Endgame tonight. And then for me, being a Power Rangers fan, Saturday is going to be the hiatus, the mid-season finale for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Like, man, this is a great weekend for me to be a Power Ranger fan, a superhero fan, a Marvel fan, a everything fan. I'm so excited. I'm not going to see Endgame until I think either tomorrow night or Saturday. There's still some tickets available in my area, so I just got to figure out which night I want to go. It's probably going to be Saturday night. Dang. Yeah, it might be Saturday night. I don't know. Haven't made up my mind yet. But this episode, we started it out. We saw Tandy. She's narrating what's going on. So we saw Bridget. You know, she was at the gun range and her shooting was completely off. We saw, who else did we see? We saw Tyrone's dad. He was making a new, a hoodie, cloak. And then we saw Connors. All right. So then the episode kind of picked up where last week's left off, which was when, Tandy came back with Connors instead of Mayhem. And Tyrone is upset about that. He's like, you brought back the man that killed my brother. And, she's like, but I was trying to get Mayhem and I ended up bringing that motherfucker back by accident. And, once she's back, her phone starts going off and it's her mom. Her mom is texting her repeatedly. And, Tyrone tells her, go see what your mama wants. So then she goes home to her mom, and her mom was telling her how, she went out the night before, she met someone, she and a lady were dancing, and then a guy kept buying them rounds of drinks. And then her mom was like, he was a sexy doctor. And she's like, really, mom, a sexy doctor? Like, so it's just all about what he can do for you, basically. And she's like, no, that's not what it is. And she was like, well, it kind of sort of is what it is, because that's what you did with dad. You stayed with him because he can buy us these, nice things and whatnot. She was like, no, I stayed with your dad because I wanted you to have a good representation of whatever dad could be. And, she's like, her mama, her daughter, Tandy once again kind of calls bullshit on her mom. Like, you act like it was hard to leave, but it really wasn't hard to leave. You could have left anytime you wanted. And I have to disagree with Tandy. Like, if you're in an abusive relationship, I think it would be harder for the woman to leave, because sometimes, in certain situations, the men take power from the women, making the women feel like they can't do anything without the man. So I don't necessarily 100% agree with what Tandy says, but I get the logic behind it that, you have to be strong enough to leave. So I definitely get the logic, but sometimes it's not always the case. Like I said, men take the power from the women, making them feel like they're inferior to them. They can't do anything. They're not worth anything. Like, what would you be without me? Where would you be without me? Like, I think that's how it is. I don't know how it is. I've never been in an abusive situation. I don't plan to be in an abusive situation, so I can't really speak toward that. But that's just what my mind frame goes at when I think of abuse. All right, so next we see Bridget. So Bridget is jumpy as hell because she's in her living room and her tea kettle goes off and Bridget just goes like, damn, like you saw a ghost? Like, wow. I would have never expected Bridget to be that afraid. So then she goes to turn the kettle off and there's a knock at the door. And she's jumpy about that too. I'm like, God damn, Bridget, like, how scared are you? So she goes to the door. It's Tyrone. Tyrone is telling her that, Connors is back and that they need to find him. And she's like, we? He's like, yeah, me, you, and Tandy. And, Bridget is just like, I'm not myself. I can't help you. And Tyrone is kind of trying to figure out what's going on with her. And I'm like, Bridget is not Bridget. Well, technically, she is Bridget, but she's a shell of herself. It's almost like Mayhem has, Bridget's, which she actually does. Mayhem has Bridget's, ferocity, her, trying to think of a word. I said ferocity, her, her drive, her kick-assness, not a word, but her kick-assness. Bridget does not possess that right now, but Mayhem does possess that. So then we see Tyrone. So Tyrone is frantic, he's getting himself ready to try to find Connors. He's putting his, his hoodie on to disappear. Then he has some he has gunpowder that he's putting down, and I'm like, what is he doing with the gunpowder? But what we see is he's made a voodoo symbol, and he sets the voodoo symbol on fire so that way he can find Connors. So once he sets it on fire, he teleports to where Connors is, and then we see Connors with a gun pointed toward him, and he was like, Tyrone Johnson, just what I've been waiting for. And I'm like, oh shit, like what the hell's about to happen, Tyrone? Like, you and Tandy put yourselves in situations to get hurt. Like, I get it, but y'all put yourselves in some bad situations sometimes. So then strangely enough, Connors is like, I need your help. And Tyrone is like, what you need my fucking help with? So Connors has the gun. He puts the gun on the ground. He throws it towards Tyrone. He says, I want you to help put me behind bars. I'm like, bullshit. This is too easy to be true. Like, no, this is too good to be true. This is not, it just seems too easy for him to say, I want you to put me behind bars, and throws a gun to him. And I was with Tyrone because Tyrone felt like it was a setup. He was like, so you throwing this gun to me because you want me to put my fingerprints on the gun, right? Right. He says, no, that's not what I want. He's still saying he wants, to be put behind bars. And then, he takes out this saw that he has, and it's a rusty looking saw at that. And I think this is a saw that he used to frame Tyrone. And he's also telling Tyrone that his DNA is on there as well. So then, Connors is telling Tyrone wherever he was before, Tandy brought him back. He was, I guess, contemplating, he was in his own personal hell, and he thought about, I guess, the actions of his life, and now he wants to turn himself in, and he handcuffs himself. And I'm like, wait. What the hell is going on? Like, I do not believe shit that Connors is saying. Like, I just really don't believe that shit. Like, don't believe it. It's like, it's like you watching a movie, and you see what you want to see. Actually, scratch that, take it back. It's like you're watching a soap opera, and you know who the killer is, and you always see the episodes where the killer think that they're going to get caught, and you're like, oh my god, this is the episode where the killer is going to be revealed to the the people of the city, and then it's just a daydream. There's daydream. I'm like, really? And that's what I'm feeling from this whole scene with Connors. I feel like this is a daydream that, Connors is making it, believing this in his head, and it's not going to be real at the end of the episode. So that's where I'm at. So next we see Tandy. She is with that guy, Andre, from the group meetings. And, he is just telling her about how the girls have been saved by a mysterious person, which we know is Mayhem. And, he's talking about an angel figure and a cloak figure that also came and saved him. And, so then Tandy is like, well, can I talk to the girls, just to try to give them some, a chance to stop whoever did this to them. And Andre is telling Tandy, like, these women are victims. Like, I don't think they want to sit there and relive and rehash what actually happened to them. So he tells her no. She's like, well, do you know anybody who could help me? And he looks over, and then there's a woman. Her name is Leah. And Tandy has an idea in her head. I'm like, oh shit. Like, Tandy, what are you about to do? So then we see Bridget. Bridget is in the motel room that Mayhem has been, hiding out in, doing all this stuff. And then she's looking around, and then in the drawer she finds an article. I didn't really get to take a good look at that article, so I'm not sure what that article was about. But she looked at the article. So then we see Tyrone's dad. He is, still making the cloak, hoodie, whatever he was making. So then Tyrone shows up with Connors, and his dad is like, oh, hell no. I know you didn't show up with this man that killed my son. So he has a knife, and he points it to Connors, and Connors like, you don't want to do that. So then Tyrone and his dad, they have Connors, and he's tied up. And then we see Tandy. Tandy is talking with Leah. And, Connors is talking about basically how his white privilege, his family's privilege, all of that has basically got him out of a lot of shit in his life. And more specifically, his killing of Billy. So, he's telling Tyrone them that, that they need to get to his uncle. That's the key to putting him in jail is his uncle. and he tells them that my uncle has this get out of jail free, it's a Monopoly get out of jail free card that he has. And they were like, where can we find it? And he tells them, if they find it, that'll bring them down. So then Tandy, she is talking with Leah. So basically she's trying to play Leah because, again, this is for abuse and I guess battered women. So she's playing on Leah. She's telling Leah about an ex of hers, that abused her, brought out some good and bad in her. And Leah is just in there listening to her. And I'm like, I see what Tandy is doing. Tandy is trying to play her to get on her good side, to find out who is actually behind, sex trafficking the girls that they've been trafficking. I'm like, I get where she's coming from, but I feel like Tandy is setting herself up for something. I don't know what, but Tandy is setting herself up for failure. All right, so then we see Tandy. Tandy is, in a park-like area, and Leah is there watching, but Tyrone shows up. So then, Tandy goes up to talk to Tyrone, and she's like, oh, I can help you find Connors. He's like, too late, I've already found Connors. She's like, what? That's great. And he was like, yeah, but, I have to steal something from him, and I'm just not sure that, everything is on the up and up when it comes to Connors. And, he then notices, he was like, wait a minute, that woman right there, the woman behind you, that woman keeps looking over here at me. She's like, no, she's not. And then, he, like I said, he noticed her, and she's like, okay, she is. I'm trying to play her because, I feel like she can lead me to the person who has been kidnapping the girls. And he was like, wait a minute. So what am I? Your abusive boyfriend, your pimp, like, your black friend that you can use? She was like, no, you're my best friend. And he left. And then, we see Leah and Tandy talking, and Leah is just, eating it up, hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, damn, Tandy is really good. So then Leah starts to open up to Tandy about her ex-boyfriend, who I guess was, using her, manipulating her, forcing her to do things that she didn't want to do. I guess, i.e., be a sex trafficker. Well, not a sex trafficker, being a girl that was being sex trafficked, if that's even a word. All right, so then we see Tyrone and his dad, and, they're talking about, because Tyrone asked his dad, do you think we can trust him? And he's like, are you asking me, do I think we can trust this motherfucker? Nah, I don't think we can trust him. But he says, you know what, though? People do change, which that is true. And it is a possibility that Connors has changed. I don't see it, but it's a big possibility. So, then we see in both, it's two scenes, simultaneously, almost simultaneously. So we see Tyrone and Tandy both talking about justice, because Tandy is asking Leah, did her boyfriend ever face justice? She says, no, he didn't face justice. And then Tyrone is talking about bringing Connors to justice, and his dad like, what does justice mean to you? And that is a good question. What is your definition of justice? Because justice can mean different things for different people. Some people, justice can mean the judicial system. Other people, it can mean taking justice into your own hands, either killing a person, torturing them, beating them to make a confession, i.e., etc., etc., etc. I didn't mean to say i.e., etc., etc., etc. So justice just basically boils down to your own personal interpretation of what the word means. So then Tyrone is talking about how he feels like Connors could be lying, which that is a possibility, that Connors could be lying just to, save his own ass, which I don't know how he would be saving his own ass if he's handcuffed and he's tied to a chair. Interesting. So then we see Leah. She's telling Tandy a little bit more about her ex, how he knows the drug dealers in the city. So then we see Connors, and he's telling Tyrone about this key that he needs in order to get the get out of jail free ticket from his uncle. So then we see Bridget. She is suited up to help Tyrone. I'm like, there go my girl Bridget. Like, you back in action, girl. You back. All right, you guys. So then next we see Tandy. Tandy is watching Leah's ex and some of his, his co-workers, his business partners, whatever you want to call them. And then we see Bridget. Bridget is at the country club. So she goes into the country club and she tells them there's a bomb threat there. So then one of the guys comes out and tells her, I didn't know anything about a bomb threat. So then they go look at the security footage, and on the security footage in one of the parking garages, boom, something blows up. She's like, see, there go your warning right there. So then we see Tandy. She's in where, she's in the, I guess, I don't know what that is. The warehouse, I guess you could call it. And then we see Leah's ex with a pickaxe. I'm like, oh, Tandy, what the hell have you gotten yourself into? So then Tandy starts to fight him. And Tandy's getting the best of him. So then we move back over. So then we see Ty and Bridget. They are looking for the file. So Tyrone is just going over his head everything that, that Connors was telling him. So then, Tandy, she's still fighting the other guys. And then one of the guys comes in and he pepper sprays her. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So she creates her big orb of light and shoots it up and blinds the fuck out of them. And she just starts kicking their ass like boom, boom, boom. And then the boyfriend, she's just going boom, just punching him in the face, just punching him repeatedly till he passes out. So then we move back over to Tyrone. So Tyrone, he finds this special bottle that, oh God, a gnat. So he finds this special bottle that Connors was talking about. Connors told him he had to open it. So he opens the bottle and he shakes it, but nothing comes out the bottle. So it's safe to assume that either the uncle got the get out of jail free card, or Connors was just lying through his teeth. So it's up to your interpretation, whichever one you guys believe. All right, and lastly, so we see Tyrone. Well, we don't see Tyrone. We hear a boom, 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 boom at the door where Tyrone's dad is. So they go to the door and he's like, Tyrone, is that you? So then they turn back around and Connors has left. And Tyrone has taken him with him. So we see Tyrone. Tyrone is beating Connor's ass because he thinks that Connor set him up. So I'm not quite sure, but I think Tyrone saw what Connors was seeing when he was inside of, that wherever Connors was, because we see Connors and Connors. It was the stat, the what do you call that thing? It's the hands of justice, or what? I can't remember what you call it. Don't judge me. So then we see Connors. He just keep putting handcuffs on himself, and the handcuffs keep falling off. I'm like, wow. So Connors is actually telling the truth. Like, I couldn't believe that. So then we see Bridget. She's at the shooting range, and it looks like Bridget is finally back. So then Tyrone takes Connors to face justice, and justice is in the form of Tyrone's mom. So I guess justice means, you have to face the mother of the son that you killed. So then lastly, we see Leah. She finds Tandy. She asks Tandy, like, what's going on? And Tandy's like, you know what? I beat the dudes are in there. Yeah, I beat their ass. Like, and Leah was like, you did that for me? And, she's like, yeah, you got to take the power away from him. And then out of nowhere, you can see the ambulance lights. They flash on. And then Leah tases Tandy. I'm like, God damn, Tandy. You thought you were tricking her, but she actually tricked you. So it's actually Leah who's been, getting the girls to open up to her. And then she fucking kidnaps them. Like, God damn. Like, that is cold-blooded as hell. But you guys, that was the episode, Cloak and Dagger. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later. So like I said earlier, I am going to go see Endgame this weekend. I'm going to do a review of Endgame, but I'm going to wait and post before I post my video. I'm probably going to wait. I'm not going to post it on Saturday. I'm not going to post it on Sunday. I'm probably going to wait until maybe next Thursday to post a video. Next Thursday or next Friday to post a video. It'll probably be next Thursday that I post my video. But until then, you guys, see you later, Marvel fans.